All right. All right. All right. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Monday, everybody. I'm Mike. This lovely lady here is Wendy. You're in the marriage shop. And this lovely lady here would be Sydney Michelle Perry, first of the Perry offspring, at least in this particular home. Right? Back home for one of those rare visits. And in
Yes.
here tonight with us on the marriage shop, Sydney. What's up?
Happy to be here, everyone.
I can tell. I can tell. Can't you? She's like super happy to be here.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
not?
So Michael Dwayne Merle Jr., thank you for joining us in the marriage shop.
Hey.
It's been a couple of weeks. We've been out of pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so much has happened. First of all, happy Father's Day to all of my fellow fathers out there.
Yeah.
And shoot, I'll go, have father figures, all that. So thank you, because fatherhood tends to extend even well beyond your home a lot of times, right? So just happy Father's Day. Hopefully you had a good one. Hopefully it was a good day, a good weekend. And
Yeah.
hey, and if it wasn't, I have some thoughts for you. I have an idea for you. I'll share
Yeah.
it with you in a little bit.
Oh, in a little bit. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, new fathers. There's some new fathers out there. First time fathers. We saw a couple yesterday.
Yeah.
They had their little infant daughter. It was so cute. You remember? We went. What?
Yeah, cute, I guess. I mean, looked like my man was struggling. I mean, but
A little
hey,
bit. He was
yeah, I mean, but
struggling.
hey, bro, if you're watching, it's okay. We all struggle a little bit.
We won't say where
Next
we
thing
were.
you know, yeah, don't say we were.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, though, he'll be like handling his business.
Yeah, well,
Just-
we were having brunch, new dad. Then we have some people who just had babies that are not new dads, but maybe this is your first father. If it's your first Father's Day, that's probably your best Father's Day. Maybe, I don't know. Being there for the birth might be something that you will never forget for sure
Yeah.
if you were there. But then that first Father's Day is like just like your first Mother's Day, just like every birthday that your kid has.
Wait a-
It's like what?
Wait a minute. Well, nothing is like Mother's Day. Let's be real about it. I appreciate what everybody's trying to do, and like shouting out fathers and putting that time and energy into celebrating dads and everything. But let's be real about it. It's not quite like Mother's Day.
Well, I'm saying
Oh, you
for
mean
the
for the
person that's
individual?
experiencing.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
I was talking about. I'm not talking about from the perspective of how society handles it
Yeah.
or what you get or how much coverage or any of that. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
talking about for mothers, their first Mother's Day, just like
Yeah.
fathers, maybe their first Father's Day.
Yeah.
Lady T,
Hey,
happy
hey.
Juneteenth to you. Welcome, welcome.
What's
Um,
going on?
Yes, and
Happy
I
Juneteenth.
appreciate you. I want to take a
Thank
moment
you.
to just tell you publicly, I appreciate you calling to check on me to see what was going on when we weren't here. So some of you know I was under the weather for a while. Like seemed like a whole week. I
Yeah.
was like struggling.
Yeah.
So it turns out I had an ear infection, which then caused some other symptoms.
And then she got me, y'all.
I think you got you.
No, you got
I
me.
said, hey, you probably should not kiss me right now because I'm sick and we don't know what it is.
And I'm like, our love can conquer anything.
Exactly. And then he got sick.
Except that.
So he's
was
about
rough.
2 days behind me. So I am at probably about 98%.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is probably at about 93 and a
About
half.
92, might get 92, 91%.
But we're back. We're
Yeah.
back. So, and then you were out of town too.
Yeah, briefly.
So, yeah, briefly. So there were a couple of things going on, but
Mm-hmm.
I was out sick. We were out sick. Shout out to our other daughter who kind of, sort of helped take care of us and the dogs when she was here. She's now back in Syracuse.
Hey.
And our, as they call it, daughter number one, that's in Korea. Number one daughter.
Oh. Okay.
is here from Decatur. So anyway,
That's Georgia, by the way.
yeah. So Father's Day,
Mm-hmm.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
The Ramos baby. So Jesus and Antoinette, Naomi is an angel.
Naomi Ramos.
I'm so glad we got to see her
Yeah.
before we got sick, because then that would have prolonged it.
That's
We haven't
true.
been able to see her. Oh,
Yeah.
she's so cute.
She's
Oh
cute.
my
I
goodness.
didn't think you were gonna put that baby down. I thought we were gonna just
Yeah.
stay forever.
Congratulations to you guys. That is just so awesome. And so, but that reminds me of the story about is Tori Bowie, the track star, who unfortunately tragically died in childbirth,
Yeah.
and just how prevalent that is among black women. More prevalent, 2.6 times more likely to die during childbirth than
Yeah.
any other race of women, and it's just an unfortunate thing. I think that sometimes we take for granted, just because you're planning to have a family and just because maybe you have a successful pregnancy does not always mean that a baby is born. And so having children, having that baby and having a live birth is really truly a blessing.
It's a blessing. It's a miracle. And by the way, America, it's a problem in terms of infant mortality in African American women. So, but we didn't come here tonight to talk about health care disparities necessarily.
No.
We can, but it's an issue. Another time.
Another time.
Another time.
But it is Juneteenth, and
Yeah.
so I was like, man, are they gonna pick up the trash?
Oh, and they did.
Right. But we didn't get mail.
It just hit me.
We didn't get mail today, so
Yeah.
they did pick up the trash. They still figuring some things out. But we did not get mail because it is a federal holiday.
It is federal holiday. Now in our county, there are some federal holidays. So there are holidays and there are holidays. So I think New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving, no trash pickup.
Yes.
Maybe Memorial Day, but I think the rest of them, yeah, we'll probably get trash picked up on those. So I'm not gonna trip, but I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, why are we
Yeah.
picking up trash
Because
anyway?
I'm like, oh, it's a holiday. Let me go ahead and grab this trash can. So I checked in there and I'm like, they came and got it.
They came and got it. I
Yeah.
put it out. So anyway,
Right. Because I was going to fuss at you. I'm like,
My
hey,
bad.
why you put the trash out? It's a federal holiday.
my bad.
But you did that.
We entrepreneurs. Like in my brain, there's literally no calendar in my mind. There's
No holiday.
there are dates, days of the week, holidays. They just don't exist.
Like Easter Monday. I was telling about Easter Monday. If you know about Easter Monday, drop that in the chat.
Has anybody ever heard of? I've never heard of a thing that was labeled Easter Monday. There's the Monday after Easter, right?
It's Easter
And the Easter
Monday.
Sunday. I've never heard of Easter Monday.
If you heard of Easter Monday, drop that in the chat.
I think
So
the chat's gonna be kind of quiet on that one.
maybe. We'll see.
Talk to me, chat.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Is that what we're talking about?
A little bit. Okay. So this is the third Juneteenth, and as we talk to people about what Juneteenth is, why it is, etc. I think that some people are all in. Some people are still trying to figure out where they are on it. Some people it's just not registering, right? So it's I think that what Juneteenth is originally versus what the holiday is set to commemorate, there's slightly different thing there, right? And Wendy is actually the person who taught me about Juneteenth.
Yes, I am. Because I went to school in Texas.
Yeah.
And so I learned about Juneteenth in college way back. It's almost 30 years ago now. 30 years ago when I was in college, I learned about Juneteenth from people who grew up in Texas.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get this. But then I got it. And so I shared that with y'all last year. So if you want to roll it back to last year's Juneteenth, I talked about how, how can y'all be celebrating when y'all got the news late? But
Right.
it's so much more than that.
It's more than that, but it's kind of where I got stuck myself. Like 2.5
Yeah.
years. What are we celebrating?
Yeah.
Because I get a little frustrated. I'm thinking justice delayed and denied and all that, right? So I'm like, the fist is going up and it's like, no, we're celebrating. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Well,
but
yeah.
that's what originally, that is what Juneteenth is. It is it was established in Galveston, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, Galveston, Texas. And so I forget the general's name, but he shows up and says, hey, y'all, guess what? 2.5 years ago, freedom.
Who was it? It's probably Sam Houston.
It's not. I do not believe it is Sam. I mean, you're the Texas student,
don't
but
know.
I do not
Hey.
believe it is Sam Houston.
What do you know about Juneteenth?
See, that's that part. That's that part. Hey, oh, Daryl.
Anything.
Hey,
Oh.
Alicia Morris. Hey, what's going on?
Yes.
Daryl T. Jackson. What's up, man?
Alicia
No calendar.
Maris. And you see, you just said hello, but you didn't say what. She says
Maris.
Easter
Oh.
Monday was the best when I was working at the bank.
Easter Monday.
Thank you, Alicia.
Wait a minute, Alicia. Is that what they called it, though? Or was it just the
Yes.
Monday after Easter? I think this nuance is important.
Got it. They called it. Hey, DT Jack, welcome.
What's up? You said empty nesters. We are, in fact, empty nesters.
Almost.
By the definition of what empty nester is, I think we fit the we meet the bar.
I think empty nest is when your kids, I think it's been redefined. Empty nest used to be when your kids grow up, leave, they're on their own, and their permanent address is no longer your permanent address. That's what empty nest used to mean. That your nest is empty of children because they have now gone out, they're adults, and they have established themselves in the world.
Well,
That's not what it is now.
yeah, listen, you got to be that new age empty nester. If you want to have that designation,
Yeah.
you got to accelerate it a little bit. So
That's funny.
Listen,
Easter Monday
as
for
long
sure.
as long as you're not here. Come on, Alicia. I mean, really, I there's no way to verify this independently. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But
Anybody
I'm just
else?
saying, Easter Monday.
Anybody
never
else
heard
know
of
about Easter
that.
Monday? I need Nicolette Doremus in here. I know she knows about Easter Monday. So
She would know about Easter Monday. I'll say that.
yes,
All right.
empty nest. Any thoughts?
So maybe the official empty nest designation is when those children come back to the house and whatever their room was when they left, it ain't that no more.
Yeah, no.
That's when it's official.
It's too soon, baby. You're ripping off a
Am I?
Band-Aid
Is
right
it?
now.
Is it too soon for
it's
that?
too-
See to say it's fine. I'm
Hey,
just saying.
Makiba Jackson, Easter Monday was the best.
Makiba Jackson, come
Yes,
on. Listen,
yes.
y'all. I feel like what you're really seeing is the Monday after Easter was the best, but Easter Monday that's like a thing. That's like a specific.
Easter Monday is a holiday. It is a thing.
It's-
so
okay, anyway.
so here's what happened since you ripped the Band-Aid off. So when our number one daughter went away to college,
That's
before she left, we said, hey, when you go, we're probably gonna, let Morgan move into your room when your stuff gets moved out, and we're gonna move some things around. We're gonna change the back bedroom into our studio. We're gonna do all these things. We had that conversation, and when she left, man, she left that room a mess. But that's a whole different.
That's a whole-
that's a whole different
Another
story.
story.
So I lovingly cleaned up the room and I put things away, and time passed and she didn't come home like at all her first semester. And then we let her younger sister move into her room, and oh no, that was not the move. So I would just say lesson learned from doing that. Even if you have the conversation, have a conversation again. It was a little too soon.
In retrospect, I wouldn't have done that at the time we did it.
Yeah, it was a little too soon. It was a little too
live
soon.
and learn. But
Nope.
then in some move up, so I had plans for another bedroom. It was going to be our studio. We might be broadcasting from the marriage shop in that very space at this very time. However, somebody came home and said, I want that room right there.
No.
And her mom was like, cool.
Well, I was trying to make up for
Yes, I know.
jumping the gun. So we
Yes.
converted during COVID when she had to move back home temporarily, which, that's to be discussed. Empty
Yeah.
nest, temporary move back home. Is the nest still empty, or are they renting space in the nest? I don't know. But she had to come home, which was a surprise to everybody. We got that call, and it was like, they said, we got to leave like
come
right
get me.
now. Come get me. Or I can't leave. Remember that?
No, I think I was here.
Yeah.
And
And we had to go
went
back.
and got my stuff.
Yeah.
No, we took off and came and got you.
No, she was here, remember, and we had to go
came
back
out?
because they had a window to empty out.
Oh.
Anyway, nevertheless, she came back, and next thing you know, got an upgrade.
Hey, Charles Jones, welcome.
Hey. What's up, sir? Look good to see you this evening.
Yeah.
Or good to see your name. All right.
Alicia Maris says, my parents put a treadmill in my room. They've used it once.
That's so funny.
Now it's storage for Christmas.
Yeah, there's the vision, and then there's the reality. It's like, yeah, we're going to have a gym. We can work out every morning. It'll be great. Right? But then,
Yeah, but here's
So,
the thing.
right.
What your parents do with the space that you occupy, right? Because if you call it your room, then it's harder to depart from your room. But the space that you occupied when you were there, what your parents do with that space when you no longer occupy the space, you know, it has nothing to do with you,
I mean, who we
the
talking?
child.
Who we talking to? We talking to the parents right here.
Yes.
So I mean, who we talking to? So I mean,
We're talking to the
because
parents.
there's some people here, I won't name names, that are probably like, I let them know it's not their space in the first place. Don't call it your room. Like, you sleep
Well,
there,
that's true.
and then I do what I want, whatever. But bottom
Yeah,
line
but
is
there's
this.
some 60-year-old people on here that might still have their room at their parents' house. Like, not
Oh,
touched
if
since
you
they left.
listen, if you are, I'll give it 40
Oh, 40.
plus,
Woo!
and you still have room at your parents' house. I just want you to put that in. I'm curious if anybody has that going on.
Might be
That-
time to.
but but hopefully our children know, like, there will always be like this home for you to come back to.
Yes.
Its configuration may change from time to time,
Correct.
but it'll be here. You know
You
what I'm
will
saying?
always have somewhere to sleep.
Yeah, I get up from this recliner, go home.
Yes, the couch. We try to make sure we have
Anyway.
comfortable couches. And
Anyway. Yeah. Enough of that.
there's always room in our home for our children. We love them more than anything. And we had them before we had the current home. So,
Okay. I guess that's relevant. I guess.
Oh my goodness. Well, here's the thing.
Because the house is gonna be here.
Well, here's the thing.
But-
When you have children, because you said something I thought was pretty profound.
Yeah.
We were talking about this whole idea of having kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember exactly what you said, but it was around when you first have them.
Yeah.
And, when you were there and you were in the delivery room and you held them for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
What
I
did you
do.
say?
No, I was just saying that talking about becoming a father, and talking about it and anticipating it is one thing, but when it happens, something fundamentally clicks. It changes in your mind, right? All you know is that you have to protect this child, right? You have to raise this child. Like, there's all this responsibility. You have no idea what it's going to be. Man, you really have no idea what it's going to be. I mean, I didn't anticipate what raising children was gonna look like. I thought I did, but then the kid comes in and they have a say, and it's like, wait a minute, nobody told me the kid was gonna have what they did, but I didn't believe them.
Oh, boy.
So, but yeah, it's just everything fundamentally changes, and immediately it's like a wake up call. Like, wow, life, just like that. And she looks like her mom. It's crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah, she did. And that's what you said when you were all crying and everything, and you were like, oh, she's a little you.
Listen, first of all,
It was so sweet.
if you're going to quote me, I need you to
What'd you say?
put some bass in that, and I need you to, if you're gonna be quote me.
That's what you said. You were like,
I said
oh, my
she's.
goodness.
That's when she was. Yeah, when they kind of she was delivered. They're like boom, and I'm like, wow, I don't know what I expected to see, but yeah, that was.
It's a little you.
It looked
so
like
sweet.
you. She looked just like, it was crazy. You with,
A long head.
look. I mean, it was,
The top of her head was like,
yeah. When I saw that, I'm like, well, didn't expect that. What happens now? So,
Sydney was
but that worked itself
the
out.
prettiest baby ever.
She was pretty baby. Yeah.
And she had a little cone head because, I was in labor for a long
24 hours.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it was a long time. And they were trying to send me
24.
home. And it was like, you know how you see people put their feet on the wall, like in a door frame? It's like, feet, hand. No, I am not going
Not coming.
home.
Nope. Not gonna do it.
I'm not going home. You don't understand how this feels. So if you're a mama out there and you're expecting and you're in those last few weeks, we know exactly how you feel. We know.
When you say we, who you mean?
Us.
Us?
The mamas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was something. But now, because that's what it was. You were talking about the fact that we came together and we made these people.
Yeah.
And so it's so amazing and awesome when they're like infants, right? These little people, and you're just looking at them, and it's just like, oh, all they do is cry, poop, and pee. And throw up a little bit, and it's just like, oh, and then like they roll over. Once they roll over, it's like, man, once they roll over, it's over.
It's over. So you think getting up is challenging. You think getting up is like, oh man, I'm tired. But oh no, no, no. When they roll that first time, that's it. It's a wrap.
That's it.
Next thing you know, chasing that baby.
And
So-
Sydney rolled quick, and then I remember I was all excited. I was trying to get you to see it. she did what Ruby does now. We're trying to get her to roll over. She was just like, eh. I'm like, no, I promise
hilarious.
she did it.
I'm like,
she
you just
rolled
gotta-
over. She just laid on one side and like settled in. Like, I'm good.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
That was-
That was funny. So anyway, but this whole idea of, I was saying that if you are a deadbeat dad or destructive dad or abusive dad, that maybe Father's Day is not what it is for dads who are loving and making an attempt to get it right, and are there for their children even if they're not in relationship with the mother. It's just different.
Well-
Go ahead.
It's. I think that it is a real mixed bag, right? There are some fathers who perhaps are not stepping up in the way they should. There are many fathers who are there and they're trying to be there and do everything that they believe is necessary in order to, to be that leader, that supporter, that protector for their children.
Yeah.
There are some fathers who are trying to be there but can't because of relational things, right? So they don't have access. It just, like I said, it's a mixed bag, right? And so, but I think I was talking about Father's Day in terms of what it is and maybe what you want it to be. Like for me, I don't really have a lot of requirements or expectations about like, it's gotta be. I'm willing to kind of accept what it is, right? Now, some people though, I recognize that you want that day to be a certain way. Maybe you want that breakfast, or maybe you want that card, or maybe you want whatever. Okay, fine. And some of you probably didn't have that good a day yesterday for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Altercations and, frustration, tension. So here's what you do, all right? You are a father, and mothers, you can do this too. This is for free. You're a father, you're a mother, 365 days a year. Somebody designated these days, Father's Day and Mother's Day, as Father's Day and Mother's Day, right? The problem is nobody told your kids that this is a day you got to get it together. So maybe you have a rough patch on Father's Day, Mother's Day. No problem, right? All you do is simply like find a good day. You had a good day, right? We had some great conversation, had some laughs, whatever, great conversation, and boom, this is my Father's Day. Whatever it is. It could be like November 2nd, whatever. Father's Day, right? Say, yeah, this is mine, right? And then just ride on out, That way, it's what I call taking it as it comes, right? Every day of the year is that day. You don't have to like wait on a specific day, right? Even though, it's nice to acknowledge and do special things. But for me, I don't know, all year long, there's just things that happen along the way. There are times when I have a conversation with Sydney or Morgan, and it's just like, that was a good talk right there. That was a good one. Or, maybe we go see Sydney in Decatur and hang out, eat or whatever. And I just kind of cherish those moments. And good moments will not be just funneled into a singular day all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just appreciate those as they come. And so on June 18th or whatever, it's just like, okay, it's a cool day. But it's not the end all be all.
Yeah, I think it's like the third Sunday or something. So it could be the 16th, 17th, the 18th. I don't think it's a day.
Well, it's that Sunday that
So it's
I'm
the
just
16th this year.
Was it?
Yeah,
What's today's date?
17th, Juneteenth,
It's the 19th.
19th. So it's the 18th. It's the 2019.
See?
I was sick.
See, we majoring in the minor. It don't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're right.
I-
You are right. I was wrong. Sorry about
I mean,
that.
you don't. I mean, you,
But we're glad we have Sydney here, and I just said, hey, if you want to come say hi, that's fine. If you don't, you hang out as long as you want. But the people are asking for you. So, Inspired One on YouTube, thank you for being here. And that person says, just joining. Did I miss the daughter's thoughts on Father's Day? Apologies if she already spoke. You're in luck. She has not already spoken, but we will allow her to share. Sydney.
Hello there, everyone. Yep, happy to be here on the Marriage Shop and talking. I guess my thoughts on Father's Day. I think it's in line with what my dad was saying in terms of like it, not being like it's a specific day that somebody chose, but I think for me it's kind of that and some other holidays. I think just over and over and over and over and over again. Now, kind of doing some reflecting, it just feels like it's repetitive in some ways, and like forcing yourself to get all these extravagant things and all this stuff. Like, yeah, like I think it is nice to make someone feel special and show that you appreciate them. But also now being, I guess, a whole lot older and having to like pay for stuff and adulting, it's like I love my dad, but I'm not about to like go broke trying to buy a whole bunch of stuff to prove that I love him on a specific day that somebody else said is a day. It's like, I'm not doing that. I think over time and just each day, like I think we like are having conversations and just working on our relationship over time and just letting that do its own thing without the pressure of like, oh, I gotta post. Like for me, like I used to be all about social media and texting and all this stuff on these days to make a big deal about it, but it's just kind of lost its luster in some ways because like, what am I doing? Like, I guess in some ways, for some people, I feel like it's like a competition of like, look, I love my dad the most, more than you love your dad, and I'm like, yeah, and I mean, I think there's like a balance to it too. It's like it's cool, but I think for me personally, it's just more like I'm just gonna come and spend time with my dad. Happy Father's Day. I'm here.
That was it. And that was it. We drove around the corner and I saw the car in the driveway. I'm like, boom, right? So in some ways, Sydney comes home and like, that's it, right? So she could have a card, but it's like, okay, that's cool. But you coming home was the thing. And so some of the other stuff it's just not necessary for me. And cards are very interesting, right? I'm not getting this tonight. Y'all know.
You tired of cards?
Like you all know, on Valentine's Day, I tend to go in hard. I'm gonna just go light today. It's Father's Day, right, or whatever, day after. It's interesting what we go and we find someone else's words in order to communicate what we're trying to communicate. So we go and try to find something. Now, don't get me wrong, like. I buy cards. I purchase cards. I have cards in my bag right now that I need to get out to somebody somewhere, right? But it's an interesting phenomenon, and so I want us to just, don't get too caught up in the hype, in the marketing, into the social pressure to produce something when you just might be the gift.
That's good.
Your words, right? Your presence. I mean, I think we need to appreciate that a lot more, right? So, yeah. So I'm glad to hear Sydney say that because I don't want her to go broke. I don't need anything. I'm good. Not hungry. The roof. Just got a new roof on the house last year. We good. Right? I don't need anything. All I need is what I cannot get by any other means. And that is a relationship with my family. Right? Can't buy that. So
Zahid, Byram, Rella, Melanie, let me see, there were a couple, Kathy Parker Barnes, Thomas Stokes and Brian Williams, and Justice Smith. Yes,
what?
yes.
Where are all these
Thank you
people?
for
I
joining us.
don't see any of
They've
them.
been in, out, in Facebook and in between. Yeah. Hey, Justice Smith. He
Yeah.
said, we got a roof a month ago. Congratulations.
Yeah, put it in the chat if you got a new roof.
But yeah, we love you
yeah.
too. We've been missing you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I think there's so much to that. I think that we do spend a lot of time worried about what it looks like, right? And we try to make sure that everybody sees, that our family is happy. And so we post the happy pictures, or make people believe that we're somehow getting it right. When
Yeah.
the truth is, behind the scenes, we really put a lot of effort into hearing and understanding and attempting to get it right. And when you have your first child, it's new for everybody. So you don't always get things right. And that is true throughout their life.
Yeah, that first child is like, what's wrong with you? You never done this before? No. We have not.
But if you can come into agreement as a couple, right, which is really important. Parenting, if you didn't have a parenting class, there's really no guideline for parenting. So many of us learn how to parent from our parents, from other parents, from the community, from church, different places. But just like marriage is a mutually created reality, how you parent and raise your family really should be a mutually created reality between you and your spouse, right? No one else should be able to come in and tell you how to raise your kids. No one else should be able to come in and tell you what your family should be like, which holidays you should celebrate, what traditions you should celebrate. But this idea of communicating your expectations and then sharing and together creating what it's going to be is really, really important. So there's not a tug of war. Well, this is the way I think it should be done. No, I think it should be done this way.
Well, you mean between us?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, of course there's a tug of war sometimes. There have been over the years.
Okay.
I mean, that's real. But I think that I think the most important, we talk about how you learn how to parent. I think your kids, if you're willing to listen, I think your kids teach you how to parent. You know what I'm saying?
That's on it.
I guess so. I mean, yeah. Because I feel like, I've been watching, I watch a lot of movies and whatnot. That's kind of my thing. But I think a lot of themes in some of the movies, like with parents and children, it's like parents having like their own expectations for what they want their kid to do. And they have them wanting, like, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do all these things. And that could be great, but it's not giving room for the child to kind of have their own dreams or life of their what they want to do. And I think there becomes conflict in that when neither side is either like wants to listen, because I think there's valid points as to why parents want what they want for the kids, to grow and not be where they were at or whatever that might be. But I think recognizing, like, even though you brought the person into the world, they're their own person after that, in a way. Like, you can bring them up and make sure they're safe, but once they get to a certain age, it's like they're gonna go do whatever they want to do. And I think, obviously you want to steer them away from stuff that will be like harmful and whatnot, but in some ways, sometimes you have to go through those hard things or things that hurt or that pain or whatever that might look like in order to grow and develop into a full functioning individual. Versus never having to experience any type of struggle or whatnot, and then being like, what's going on? I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
So I think there's, I think it's great to have a vision for what you see for them, but then letting them do whatever they want. Because, they're going to go and grow and be their own person and not carbon copies of you as, the way that you live. So.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's, it is difficult to, you coming back on in here, Wendy? Or?
You want some water? Okay.
It's difficult as a parent because you're right. There's this child is born, and all of a sudden you begin to see the future. Like, she could be this, she's going to be that, etc. And so it's difficult as a parent to let your child go through certain things because you lived all this life and you believe you have the answers. You believe that and there's some things we know, right? We know where danger is very often. I think where we don't often know is where opportunity might be.
Yeah.
For example, because it's like, you want to do what? I don't see the path. That right there, you need to get a real job, right? Go do this instead, right? I think we do that a lot. And I think also because the noise of our own experience is so loud, and I think we just often just drown out sometimes what we see and what we hear from the kids. It's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but this is what you need to do. I'm gonna give you the answer. it's very difficult to sit back and not give all those answers, right? And to just remain in the place of, okay, just go ahead and do that. You know, okay, danger, redirect a little bit right there. I'm gonna take my hands off. Oh, wait a minute, a little bit danger, but to just kind of let the process happen, let failure happen, let fear happen, all that. That's just hard to do because you spent all these years protecting this child,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden that child begins to emerge to a place where it's time for me to be my own person now. It's time for me to begin to make decisions. It's time for me to take some of those lessons you gave me and to put them into practice. But we're like, yeah, you're practicing wrong. Try it this way, right?
Yeah.
So it's difficult to allow that independence to happen sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it's important. The point that you made was she looked like a little me, but she's not a little me, right? And people talk about that all the time, my mini, and all these things. And so our children are, in their own way, similar to both of us, right? And I say all the time that Sydney is 99.92% Mike. In many ways, in ways that
I don't
who
know.
knew it would happen. They even scratch their head the same way when they're in thought. It's crazy. It's uncanny.
What does that look like? Anyway,
You
go
know what
ahead.
it looks like.
I don't know.
Y'all know what it looks like.
I know about that.
I've said that, right? And in some ways, Morgan's moods and attitudes and the way that she is are similar to mine. But the bottom line is your kids are not smaller versions of you. They are their own version of themselves. And so allowing them to grow with guidance is important. But the most important thing is to allow them to grow with love, right? There should never be a question about whether or not what we are giving them and what we are expressing and what they are experiencing has a love component to it, right? If you are yelling and criticizing and condemning and all of those things all the time, right? Or more often than communicating how much you love them and how much it is a privilege to be their parents and how much you're thankful for the gift that God has given you, then things might be a little bit out of balance. And it doesn't have to wait until they're adults for you to be able to have those conversations. It starts very early in their lives. So, I can't say enough about that in terms of missing opportunities, and small things may create wedges and distance between you, right? You're going to have disagreements. When you have teenagers, it's a whole trip. You go through so much day to day, you don't even know who you're going to get every day. They don't even know who
That's
you're going to
true.
get every day. The idea that they will then try to live their lives similar to what you want or in line with what you want, we have to always remember that they're seeing us really at the end of everything that we've been through, not in process. And there really is an opportunity for them to see the process unless we share it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I want to actually, I want to say something controversial. We've actually talked about this.
Controversy.
Controversial, yes, because and I don't know if I talked about it on this platform or not. About whether or not our children are our friends. Right. I got into a big debate with my father, with deacons from our church, and some other people about that because they're like, basically, you're my child, you're not my friend. I'm not your friend. And we talk about it all the time. I got into a big debate with that with a bunch of guys on a call one day too, because my assertion is that
Well, hold what your assertion is. Let's ask the people.
can you be friends with your child? Can your child be your friend? Put that in the chat, yes or no.
Let us know. Yes or no.
So,
What's the question again?
can your child be your friend?
Does it matter at what point in their life?
Maybe. just give me a yes or no. Let's not split hairs.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not talking about your adult child either. I'm talking about your child,
Okay.
right? Like the child that may be in your house as we speak. Can that child can you be friends with your child?
That's good.
Yeah,
I'm curious to know where you landed on that.
Really? You don't know? You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead. Because, it takes a minute. So go ahead.
I know, it does. So, I mean, since I paused and everything, what do you think? You say no?
No,
Because?
I thought you were gonna answer your thing.
I'm just curious.
I'm gonna respond to whatever you say.
Okay.
That's good. DT Jack says no. We can be friendly. Lady T says no.
Lady T says no. BT Jack says no. It's like unequivocal. Boom. No.
Yeah.
All right. I want to give y'all one more opportunity. Are you sure? And where do we get that from? Right? Because I think that part of the answer to that question is wrapped up in what we determine a friend to be. Right? Can your child be your college friend? No. Right? The friend that you went out, you hang out with, maybe drunk with, maybe some of y'all smoke with, whatever it is you did, right? Tore it up. No, clearly not. Right? But we got all these songs, right? I'm a friend of God, and we call Jesus friend, right? But that didn't come from nowhere. That comes from scripture. I give you John 15:15, which says, "No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what the master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. I call you friends because everything I heard from my Father, I shared with you." Interesting. So John 15:14 before that says, "You are my friends if you do what I command you." So Jesus is saying we can be his friend. He is our friend. But we're saying to our children, we can't be friends. I think there's a disconnect there.
Interesting that you're taking kind of that approach to that, because what immediately comes to mind for me, and then to come back to your point, is when people have children young in their lives. Like if you're 15 when you have your child, and then subsequently end up growing in a lot of ways together, then the nature of the relationship is different than if, say, you were 30 when you had your child, right? Because you are well into your adult years at that point, and so there's a different exchange and a different relationship pattern that builds. So we've certainly observed that, where it's almost like people are sisters, or they have a more of a friendship than, and that's how their roles have evolved versus the parent-child relationship based on the circumstances. So we've seen that, and people that actually do. I've seen a lot of people post pictures, toasting with their kids.
Yeah, well, right, because I think we confuse the word friend and peer.
There you go.
Right? Because how can Jesus Christ be King of Kings, Lord of Lords, sit at the right hand of God, be God himself, and be our friend? Because clearly we serve God, right? We follow and we strive to follow the instruction that he has laid out for us. There is no confusion, right? I'm not going to roll up to Jesus when he comes back like, "Jesus, what's up?" I'm not dapping up Jesus. Like, that's not going to happen. And yet, he's still called friend. So now that I've said that, before I continue, what are your thoughts from that perspective?
Well, hold on. Before you respond, Danita Harris-Smith, thanks for joining us. And Rella, we got part of your comment, but not all of your comment. It says, "Remind her I'm not one of," so I'm thinking you're saying I'm not one of your friends or your little friends. I've heard that before. Yeah. I'm not one of your friends. I'm not the one.
Right. But
I've heard that.
And I think what we're really saying is, I'm not your friend like that.
Yeah.
I'm not 10 years old. I'm not 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
I'm not your friend like that. But I think in parenting, there's an opportunity to actually show our children what a friend looks like.
That's good. That's good. So Lady T says, she gave us the definition. Friend, a person whom one knows and with whom one has bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. Thank you for that. But then she comes back and says, you have a great point. And I think the point is friend versus peer, right? Because we're friends, or if I see our relationship has evolved to a friendship, meaning you choose me to trust me at the point that you can choose. We are friends, but we will never be the same age or in the same station or the same situation, right? So we're not peers.
Right. And so he said they can be friends with Jesus too. You wild, bro. You wild. So look.
Yes, that's the hope.
So look, But I think so. If we tell our kids, hey, I'm not your friend, we're putting a distance there, right? And then so if you think I'm overstating, that's cool.
Yeah.
Say so. Come on in. You come on in here. Tell me if you want. I think
Hmm.
we're placing ourselves somehow in another tier above Jesus.
That's good. But I do want to hear from Sydney. But Rella says, yes, LOL. I often reminded her that I'm not one of your little friends. I don't know a black woman that hasn't said that. but now I refer to her as my favorite broke friend. Amen.
Okay.
That's good. So,
Oh, thank you.
Sydney, you initially said no. I think that's how you said it. So, what say you about?
I mean, I'd say, yeah, like, no, parents aren't your friends. Um, like, I think you can have, like, because I feel like there's just a difference between, like, your friends and, like, your family. Um, and just some of those dynamics. Because I feel like with my friends, like, we hang out all the time. I'll talk to my friends probably about other stuff that I don't talk about my parents with because I either want a certain type of response or maybe I trust some of them more than I trust my parents. Or, I think because growing up, for some stuff, like, your parents discipline you or you get in trouble or there's, like, other stuff that kind of builds up over time that's still, like, you think about that stuff. So it's not necessarily like, oh, yay, we're best buds now. Like, I think it's just your relationship can, evolve over time and you can, build more trust and have more open communication and talk more, like, as adults than just, like, child-parent
Yep.
dynamics. But, like, friends, because then I think
So-
that's like a tier below what I would consider. Like, I think some of my friends become my family over time, but my family kind of stays my family.
Yeah.
And however that, evolves over time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Honey.
That's good.
Really good.
I would say everybody who's my family ain't necessarily my friend.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
that's true.
But I want to challenge you, Sydney, and everybody to think about this from what the word is saying. Proverbs 18:24. Y'all probably heard this scripture that a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Right? That's talking about God. And so look, well, yeah. So I want y'all to just take a look at the word and just kind of consider how friend is set up and defined and illustrated in the Bible. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
and I think in that
Because-
same vein, you want to say what you're saying?
No, I was just gonna say just because I think that it may require us to reconceive because even right now, like let's say Facebook, we have Facebook friends, right? That the word has been co-opted, right? And co-opted, corrupted, whatever, to call people who clearly are not friends friends, right? We call people friends all the time who are not really friends. There's something. They're associates maybe, right? Maybe peers, but not necessarily friends. But so yeah. So I just encourage us to maybe take a look at that.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think that we look at what you said, defining, right, or reconceiving, or redefining what it is. I think that in healthy relationships and healthy family relationships, it's necessary to understand where you are, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's the season that you're in, whether that's the maturity level that you have, but where you are as a parent, where your kids are as your children, and as they become adults, right? We're still learning and figuring out how to be parents to adults. And we are very much learning from our children, right? They have the lead on everything that's happening in their lives right now. We're just kind of out here cheering them on and prepared to love on them and pick up the pieces. That's kind of where we see ourselves right now. But I think what's important to communicate, just like in marriages, it is important to communicate the desired state of your relationship. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is it's important to express what you want it to be, right? Here's what I'd like for us to be able to do. Here's what I think we can do for each other. Here's how I can support you. Here's how I can understand you better. Here's what my expectations are. What are your expectations? But opening it up to be able to share those things is really important, whether that's in marriage or intimate relationship that you have, right? Because I think in our minds we have a desired state. We have what we want it to be. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish I had a marriage like theirs. I wish my relationship with my daughter was like your relationship with your daughter or your relationship with your son." I've heard people say that. But really getting down to defining what that means. What is it that you desire to have, to be able to have open conversations, to be able to talk about past hurts and then meet them where they are and try to heal those hurts? What is it that's within you? So that's my challenge for you this week, to really kind of search within you what desired state of the relationship you want to have with your children and with your spouse. Lady T said, "I feel comfortable saying that there are levels of friendship." Great job, Sydney. Not sure about the spelling. It's SYDNI. But she says, "I call them associates."
Right. Right.
Yes.
The people who are not friends, they're just kind of they're around for some reason, but not everybody's friends. I think whatever you call it, and whatever level it is, I think it is wise to challenge yourself to kind of go to another level. Relationships tend to have patterns. And sometimes those patterns lead to places that are not ideal, places we don't want. We want something different, something better, something closer. And so I just want to challenge everybody to take a minute and just pause, sit, listen, and see if you can let better happen, let different happen by basically removing yourself from that equation, if that makes sense. Sometimes when, Wendy has told me for years, just be quiet. And I'm like, I can't be quiet. I got to say what I need to say, right? But what I've discovered is that sometimes I need to be quiet and just listen. And the conversation, the depth of the conversation and the depth of the interaction and also the depth of the relationship will often go deeper if I can just get out of the way.
You had some.
I think it was another thing. I mean, more in the not friends category, just because I think as parents, there's a power dynamic there that will always be there. Or as a parent, you have to choose to be a friend in whatever that looks like. If you want to be friends with your kid, it's like, if I want to come to you as a friend, I don't want my parent. I want you to be able to just be like, hey, blah, 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 if that's the dynamic that you want to incorporate, versus maybe there's something going on with my friends, and I'm like, I just need to talk to my parents about this because y'all aren't the people right now, or, because I think there's an element there, because if I'm trying to open up and share something and then it turns into, well, now I'm parenting you, then it's like, all right, nah, gotta go back to my friends, because you guys are not my friends. But I think you choose your friends, and I think there has to be a choice to have that dynamic, because you can have everyone has a parent of some sort, but choosing to make them your friend or choosing to be friends, I think that is a whole different dynamic that both parties have to be aware of, and what you expect out of that relationship. So yeah, and I think listening is a huge component of that.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, thank you for sharing that in that perspective, because there's so much value in that. And I think along those same lines, there's this idea of friendships are sometimes transactional, right? We choose our friends, and not all time, but sometimes friendships are transactional, right? So, and situational. You're my friend because we went to school together, and there's something you can do for me or something that I can do for you. I was there when you needed somebody to confide in, or you're there when I need to confide in somebody, or advice, or whatever it is, the support, right? And it's not always necessarily transactional, but it can be, right? But the distinction of choosing, right? I choose my friends for various reasons. They make me laugh. They're there for me. They loan me money. They feed me. They drive me where I need to go. Whatever it is, as we see ourselves having different needs throughout life, that then determines who we go to, right? And so it's an interesting thing, because if you see your parent as only your friend, then when you need a parent, which even when you're 50 years old,
Mm-hmm.
there are times when you need a parent, right?
Yep.
Still. And so it's kind of a, and as people say, okay, well, right now, I'm just going to be your friend. I'm not your parent. That's not really possible. It's not really possible because, like you said, there is a difference in the relationship based on who we are in that relationship. Sydney will always be my number one daughter, my firstborn child. Nothing changes that, right? Morgan will always be the baby, my second born daughter. Nothing will ever change that. Whatever it is that I do for my children can never be changed no matter what they do, no matter what they say. Even if they say, I divorce you, 3 times, or whatever it is, nothing
believe
they do would change the love that I have for them or the nature of my relationship with them. But my hope is that they would choose to have me in their lives, allow me to be in their lives, and that we can develop the relationship that can be called a friendship. That's my hope. You just never know, and you can't force it. I think that's the other thing. I think oftentimes we try to force it to happen, and I don't think that gets you what you're trying to get.
No, no, you can't force it. And I think, and again, coming from kind of a straight biblical perspective, right? Jesus, God desires a relationship with us, like by way of Jesus Christ.
Yep.
But he doesn't force that relationship. We have to choose. We have to open up to that relationship. And so if the King of Kings and Lord of Lords is like, the word says, I knock, you have to open the door. And so we can't kick the door in, even though we try.
Yep.
Right? And another and I just throw this out there just as a thought exercise for consideration, right? The word says that we love him because he loved us first. Think about that. That feels real transactional to me,
It does.
right? But if you think about how the whole childbirth thing works, when your child emerges, does your child love you?
No.
No, that kid hungry.
They
That kid
need
is hungry. They need you, right? The love develops because you show love to them. And if you look at a kid who does not get that love and that connection up front, things get out of whack,
the bonding.
right? So the love first is really important. I'm stop there because I don't want to take it any deeper. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I want us to consider, like, and even like, can you be a parent and a friend at the same time? Is it mutually exclusive? I don't know. I'm just saying, just based on what I'm reading, it bears some thought.
Yeah.
So, but enough of that. We got to get out of here.
We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys joining us tonight, as always, and we appreciate you
Yeah,
hanging
Sydney.
in here with us.
Thanks for coming through.
You just come through and say hi. Anything else you want to share before we shut it down? Nope. Nothing at all.
All right.
All right then. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be traveling next Monday.
We will be traveling next Monday. I don't know where we'll be at 7.
Nope. But we're going to try to be with you.
Yeah.
So, set your notifications to on. Look for that little message that you get that says the marriage shop is now live. All of those things, and we'll see what we can do. We'll try to make it happen. We understand once kids get out of school, there's a lot of travel, there's a lot of holidays in the summer and all that. But we're going to make every effort to be here with you next Monday at 7.
Yep. So we pray before we get done. So you want to pray with us? All right. Let's. All right, y'all. We gonna pray. Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight. Just thank you for who you are. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for the time that we've had, and we just ask you bless every couple, every family represented here. Just be with them in everything that they do, God. And help us all to be an example of your goodness, your grace, your love. And we're sure to give you all the honor, the glory, and the praise. We thank you, we love you, we pray these and all blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So if we share something that you think might be beneficial to someone else, make sure you tag them and drag them in. We appreciate all your comments. We appreciate your support and your prayers. And if you love hearing from Sydney, let us know that too. We'll try to rope her in here, maybe even virtually. The
that'd be
next
great.
time we can do the split screen when we're talking about young adults and their relationships and all that. That second
Second
Monday,
Mondays.
Singles Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a Sydney cameo, but Sydney's in high demand, so no promises.
No promises. And apparently, she does not come at a low fee.
No,
So,
apparently
not even for us. Anyway.
Rolla says great seeing you.
Nice to see you as well.
all right. So anyway, y'all already know what it is.
All right.
Lifetime, Mike and Wendy, featuring JC.
Yes.
See y'all next week, maybe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's your boy JC. I'm in the mood. Love. Yeah. Lately I've been constantly thinking about the pain. You drive me crazy. Yeah. And girl, I want this. Got me all up in my feelings. Oh, what a feeling, yeah. I knew the first time I laid eyes on you that you would be here forever. I'm not being arrogant, and I still can't take my eyes off you. 'Cause you made me better, so much better. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. Yeah. I love your kindness, I love your confidence. Ooh, you're the finest. So glad you're mine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't wanna be with nobody else. Give me your love, that's all the wealth I need. Baby, you're priceless to me. Yeah. To love you for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. Yeah. Whoa. Promise I'ma be around. I'ma always hold you down. Won't you come and hold me now? Won't you come and hold me now? I just got a new coupe. Yeah, I know I got a roof, but I always keep it down with you. Yeah. And I know they see, girl, you're my queen. Beauty speaks for itself loud and clear. Yeah. So throw it in the air. It's the sweetest sound to follow my ear. And I want the world to know I love you forever. And that's a long time, babe. But I got time for you, baby. I'm in the mood. Lifetime for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you, yeah. For a lifetime, baby. Ooh, yeah. For a lifetime, oh, for a lifetime, yeah, yeah.